What's up, YouTube? How's it going? Back again for another random video. I'm going to tell you guys how to get your DZ, how to apply for your DZ in Ontario, Canada, and the prerequisites you need to get it. So first of all, if you're planning on getting your DZ, make sure you have your G license. You have to be older than 18. You need a truck driver's manual. I suggest you read this over 1 or 2 times, and then prior to taking the pre-test, go over distance of vehicles. I just took it, so I'm fresh off the press. So if you need any advice or help, message me on this video. A lot of it is common sense, but there's 2 sheets. Can't get more than 4 wrong. 20 questions a sheet, so 1 are signs, 1's common knowledge, and there's a few of them that are a little challenging that I got 2 wrong. So make sure you know distance and whatnot. Just tricky questions. So read over your truck driver's manual. You need to, first and foremost, study that, and you have to get your medical form filled out, and that could be anywhere from $80 to $100. And a lot of family doctors don't like doing it, so they charge out the ass, because it just takes up their time. Apparently, that's what I was told. So go to a walk-in clinic bright and early. Wait in line, sit down, enjoy yourself. It's nothing to be scared about. Get that done. It's not a drug test. It's just check for diabetes and that, so you don't faint while you're driving. Eye test. Make sure you haven't had any surgeries. You're on any medication. So I'm not. Don't have a criminal record, so I can cross the border. It just opens me up to more jobs, so that's good. Go write your pre-test. Once again, you gotta wait in line. Don't be nervous, it's not that hard. And finish that, and the ladies or gentlemen, wherever you are more than likely gonna pass you. 1 or 2 wrong. I can't see them making you write it again. It's $100. So get that done. And then after you do the pre-test, you have to get your clean criminal background certificate, whatever you want to call it there, of 3 years of no accidents. So bring that to the drive test, bring that to the truck driving school, and once you get there, there are 2 types of DZ training you can take. You can take the one that's the 20-hour course for driving and 2-day training and your Z and all that. But the one I went for was the one for 2,500, 40-hour driving, and I got to read this whole book for street truck driving. Now, this is very good because it costs more, but when you're done the program, you get automatically 2-year experience. And a lot of jobs say online you got to have 1 to 2 years. Well, if you're a new driver like myself, where are you going to get that experience? So you read this book, and it's like when you went for your drive test for insurance purposes. When you finish the course, you're automatically a 4-star rated. You don't go through drive test, you're a 3-star. Insurance companies jack up the price because you're a risky driver. This way, this guy knows, hey, you know what? Common knowledge. Highly recommended. You get more certificates when you go through the more expensive program. But you have to read this book, and the books are $400, but it's well worth it. You do not write in the book, you write in a separate book. Right here, full DZ training manual, and it's got yes and no questions, so this book can be sold. But then again, if you're not taking the advanced course, this is kind of pointless to you. And anyways, if you take the advanced course, you have to buy this book anyway, so it's not like college where you can sell your books to people. I've looked on Kijiji, there's nothing. So you get that out of the way, you pay your $2,500 fee, you paid your $100 pre-test fee, you paid $80 to $100 to $125 medical fee, you stood around in line, you drove around town. Another book they give you is your login book. Just an example of when you're working, what you'll be doing for the companies. And there's a little ruler to measure your brakes, when they're compressed, not compressed. You got to set up, you got to know the right measurements, but clearly that will be all provided on the job. But As for your training, they're going to want you to measure and make sure your brakes are following the proper standards. What's another thing? So once you pass all that, you get enrolled and you get a schedule. You do your Z first, and they make you read over this. It takes about 4 hours, and you have to answer questions just to freshen up your brain and understand what you're learning. So that's a 2-day course, 8 hours a day, so do the math. That shouldn't be hard. You get your Z certificate when you're done that program. Now there could be some people in my class that just need their Z updated. Doesn't necessarily mean they're in the program to learn what I'm doing. It could be for air brake on any kind of vehicle. So those aren't necessarily the people you're going to be learning with in the yard. Now there's yard training, 10 hours of that. You go to Sarnia to do border control. You don't cross over the border, so you're learning about the weight scales and all that stuff here in the Canadian side. And that's a whole day's training right there. You got defensive driving, that takes up one whole day. Dangerous goods, that takes up another day. Your logbook, they're going to teach you that. That takes up another day. And like I said, the 2 air brake courses, and that takes up 2 days. And that's separate from your DZ. That could be anybody in that program. That's just your air brake. So once you get your Z license, your certificate, and you advance on to your D, or your A, or your B license, whatever you're taking. But I highly recommend you read over the truck driving manual. It's a lot of common sense, but it's still good to know the signs and everything when you're going to write your test. So keep in mind, they're going to be asking you questions about distance of following, proper speed limits, or highway speed limits, 401 speed limits, highway speed limits. They're going to be asking you about traffic islands, stuff you should learn on your G license, but for me it's been 5 or 6 years, so good thing I didn't get all cocky and did the pre-questions online. There's lots of websites you can look at for multiple choice questions. You don't have to pay for them, but you can. It's $20 to do the pre-test questions, but it's a $100 program, so they're not going to fail you. If you get a lot wrong, then then maybe this job is not for you. So a lot of it is common sense. So if you know how to drive, then you're well on your way to becoming a truck driver or whatever you want to do. But that's your courses. So when you're all said and done, it's about $3,000, and it opens up a lot more jobs to you. Like I said, if you read this, you take the course for $2,500, you get 8 certificates, and you have to read all this, and at the end you have to do every single chapter, and you have to get over 85% or 80% yes and no questions. So it is open book, and all the questions in the program are open book, so you should not have a problem passing that. So they want you to understand what you're learning, and as you're answering the questions and you see the answers, you don't have to think and remember, because that's not always the best way to learn for some people. So open book is another good way to help you remember the program. So there's that, truck driving, air brake. Read this over. You don't have to, but I suggest you obviously do if you want to pass. And look online. There's lots of videos to show you how to check your air brakes. I can leave a link down below for the air brake test, and that is that. So I got to fill out all the questions. That whole book has to be done, and I can graduate with 2 years experience under my belt, just as I did with the driver's license for my G. So your insurance companies will thank you, and when you go and get a job, they'll recognize that you already have more experience than someone getting out of a program that only costs $1,000 or $1,500, whatever it is. I don't know. They didn't tell me. But this is the one up, and employers like that. So when they go to hire you, they're not as scared to put you on their insurance company. It's not that you're a bad worker. It's you're your own driver. You're the driver, and you're your own boss. So you know what I mean. You can hit somebody with 2 years under your belt or 10, or but having no experience, they gotta pay twice as much for insurance for you. So I would definitely recommend it if you're tired of working all these jobs that want you to get all these certificates. Get it all at once. Get it out of the way, and you're on your way to becoming a driver for Ontario, Canada. Hope this helped. See you later.